Hello, welcome. Today we're going to talk about the 5 types of self-sabotage. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jackie. I am a life and business coach. What I do is I help individuals just like you. I help you get organized, help you get trained, and help you get that money through government contracting. All right. So my goal is to take you from dreaming to living the lifestyle that you desire. So everything that we go over builds up to you being that person that you desire. Okay, today's topic, like I said, is the 5 types of self-sabotage. Before we go into that, I want to get these announcements for the week. Monday on IG and on the Jackie McKeever Facebook page, the topic was, what is self-sabotage and why do we do it? Then on Wednesday, Victory Chat with Jackie McKeever podcast, we discussed the battle against self-sabotage. Then after that, on Thursday, we discussed on YouTube only how to stop self-sabotage. So everything is building up to Thursday's events. So this is why it's important that we talk about the 5 types of self-sabotage. And, you know, a lot of times we do self-sabotage and we don't realize, sometimes we don't really realize that it's actually self-sabotage, but it really is self-sabotage. I mean, for example, you could be playing over in your head mistakes that you've done in the past, even though the truth be told, there's nothing that you can do about past events, because once they've happened, you can't go back and say, ooh, I can't do that, because it's done. It's complete. And the only thing you could do is move on. And you have to practice these things that we're going to discuss Thursday to keep the past, to keep yourself from sabotaging your future. This is why we're going over self-sabotage. Okay, so I'm going to talk about 5 different types. And y'all, for those of you who don't know me or familiar, oftentimes I tell a story to draw you in, to get you to better understand where I'm coming from, better understand the topic. Now, self-sabotage in layman's terms is a behavior or an activity that blocks you from achieving your goal, from being good with your life, basically, to put it, to make it simple as put. So the first common form of self-sabotage is procrastination. In my opinion, procrastination is one of the easiest ones to slip into and the hardest one to come out of. And I don't really have to define procrastination, but, you know, simply putting things off. And if you're making excuses for why you didn't do something, you're still procrastinating, especially if you know that you had good time to do it, you know, because there's an example, and I'm gonna use myself, that I didn't realize that this was a form of procrastination. Like, I would over obligate myself, and I didn't originally think that or realize that I was doing that. But somewhere in my mind, I thought I had to do everything in today and block out every hour, or I felt like I wasn't doing crap. I felt like I was slipping in depression. I was giving myself excuses when I was really self-sabotaging myself, because I would get myself so overwhelmed that I really didn't get much done. I was really doing busy work because I would be so frazzled or so anxious or whatever, trying to figure out how I can get everything and not finishing anything. And it's still procrastination. Substance abuse is a horrible one, a horrible one. And you all, many families are familiar with substance abuse. I mean, I was married to someone that had addiction. My father had an alcohol and drug addiction. And unfortunately, um, people think that substance abuse just affect that victim that is actually abusing that substance, but it affects the family because the family ends up feeling like, and I don't know about your family, I'm talking about mine, like that drug or that substance was more important than them. Like, why don't you love me enough? And that causes you to feel like you're not worthy. And it affects your relationships with other people. Let's talk about the next one I want to talk about is chronic lateness. And people think it's funny to be lateness, but you're actually self-sabotaging yourself. Coming to late to social events or coming late to anything that's important, arriving late, acting as though time will wait on you is disrespectful to the parties that are there on time. And it's also self-sabotage. And I found myself, speaking of overbooking myself, there had been times where I was coming in on a flight and I scheduled a meeting coming like an hour after I was supposed to land, as though I had control of when we were going to land. And I was like, okay, we got plenty of time. All I have is an hour and a half or whatever. If they get late, as long as they're not too late, I can still make the appointment instead of trying to negotiate for a better time when I wasn't flying. Then I would be either late or I would miss the appointment completely because I was at the airport. I couldn't make that appointment, or in the air or in the turnpike trying to get off the plane, missed the appointment. That person was angry. They was disrespected. I did apologize, but it was self-sabotaging because the meetings that I was late for were meetings that benefited me. Now, when it comes to a client, I'm on time. The only time that honest be told that there may be an issue with starting is when technology interferes. And so we're usually communicating back and forth because, through emails, through text messages, and that's something that I cannot control. And I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about the things that you can control. Stress eating. Y'all, I'm guilty of that too. So one of the reasons, okay, stress eating or under eating, these are types of self-sabotage. Because either you're dealing with, because the way you're dealing with food, you're using your relationship with food to deal with stress and anxiety. And you're looking for that natural high. It's just like compared to the person that has the substance abuse problem, except the drug that you're choosing is food. But it's self-sabotage. And in many cases, it can cause, in my case, it did, obesity. Obesity can cause things like aching bones. I mean, like aching bones, aching backs. It can cause diabetes. It can cause all types of health problems because you began to self-sabotage yourself. Here's a big one: intimacy and commitment issues. Listen, I had that one too. Like for 12 years after my divorce, I had a fear of it. I was terrified of entering in a serious relationship with somebody because I felt like I was unworthy. Sure, I'm sure that the past had a reflection of on that particular time. But when you self-sabotage, you can self-sabotage your relationships with friends, not just romantic friends. You abandon them, or the minute they do something, and it may not even be that serious, you want to cut it off because it reminds you of something in the past. Refusing to allow yourself to be emotionally vulnerable. And see, that's where growth happens, when you step out of your comfort zone, when you open up the door. But you're refusing to do that, and it's causing you to have intimacy or commitment issues. So you intentionally abandon or ruin healthy relationships, romantic relationships, or friendships with people. That's self-sabotage. Or or clinging to people who you know aren't good company. So those are 5 types of self-sabotage: procrastination, substance abuse, chronic lateness, stress eating or relationship with food, intimacy and commitment issues. There are tons of types of self-sabotage, but I only went over 5 because these are some of the most common forms. But guess what? You do not have to stay there. Your victory can start today by doing the simple steps that I'm going to go over on Thursday on YouTube. So make sure you join me at my Linktree /route to victory link and join me and subscribe, click the notification so you'll know when the videos posted, so you will know how to battle it and how to win against self-sabotage, because our goal is to live the life we've always dreamed. And guess what? You can, because you are unstoppable. That's all I have for today. My name is Jackie McKeever. I am a life and business coach. What I do is I help individuals just like you. I help you go from dream to goals, help you get organized, help you get trained, and help you win that dream life. That's all for today. Y'all, make sure y'all give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or some topics you'd like me to cover on this platform, make sure you post in the comments. Until we talk again, au revoir, goodbye, and have a great evening.